make our matzah, everyone has matzah, right?
Yeah.
We would take from the upper and middle matzah of our central plate. But you can just take whatever matzah you have in front of you. And we say, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. The same blessing that you say for any bread. We praise you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who brings forth bread from the earth. And for the rest of Passover, that's the blessing we'll say before we eat matzah. But because this matzah is the one that's going to fulfill our commandment to eat the matzah during Passover. Traditionally, you don't have to eat matzah ever again after the Seder. You don't have to eat matzah during Passover. You just can't eat regular bread. But the night of Passover, you have to eat at least an olive's worth of matzah, which the nice people of Manischewitz have measured for us, which is 1 square piece of matzah. If you broke it down, it would be kazait, or an olive's worth. Okay? So this is our commandment. So we say, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kinshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al achilat matzah. We praise you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who makes us holy by your mitzvot and commands us to eat matzah. We're going to need more matzah later on, so just have a small bite now of the matzah all by itself. And if you need more, I think we do have a little more. Oh, that is good. All right. Now, we have maror. And the first time we eat maror, we're going to eat maror by itself later. The first time we eat maror, we mix it with the charoset. And now here's your first how-to of the night. We're going to make our own charoset. Because we wanted you to see how easy it is. All it is chopped apple. This is, I'm now Rachel Ray, okay? So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to chop your apple. Then, you're going to add your chopped nuts. Now do you have any, did you grow up in an Ashkenazi or Sephardic home? Ashkenazi, okay. Sephardic, the Spanish tradition, charoset would be a little different. It would have like dates and some other things. Now, I like doing, you can either do, I wouldn't use all this brown sugar, by the way, but it's up to you. I would put a little brown sugar on top now so that when you pour the juice in, it already starts to soak it in. Is it cinnamon? No, it's cinnamon. You can use brown sugar also. Oh, we have white sugar, okay. So do a little cinnamon. Put your sugar in there. If you like the sugar, if you're diabetic, don't use sugar. Now, I got warned that the last time Rabbi Bernholtz did this, they poured in the whole cup of juice. You don't need a ton of wine. Okay? So I would pour in maybe about half to a quarter of what, not even. Start with like a quarter of what you have left. Start stirring it up and then see if you need to add more. Maybe a little more.
You add the egg to it? Or?
No eggs, no eggs. Oh, that looks good. Everyone has now made their own charoset. How exciting is that? All right. So the first time we eat the bitter herb, we're going to mix it with a little bit of the charoset so that it's sweetened just a little bit. The bitter herb is our horseradish. I think we've given you white and red. The white is going to be more bitter. The red is, I don't know if you ever knew this about horseradish. The red has beet juice in it to soften it a little bit. I would suggest using the white right now and save the red for your gefilte fish. But you can do it however you want. So we're going to take a little bit of the horseradish, I put it on the matzah. You can also just eat them together. It's up to you. This one, everyone does it a little differently. And the haroset. And we'll say our blessing for the maror. First, we dip the maror into haroset. This is called haroset, to recall that our ancestors were able to withstand the bitterness of slavery because it was sweetened by the hope of freedom. And our blessing, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al achilat maror. Same blessing as for the matzah, but instead of matzah, maror. We praise you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who makes us holy by your mitzvot and commands us to eat maror. Now you can take a bite. Now, in the Talmud, we read about Rabbi Akiva's sandwich. And what he would do at this point of the Seder is make a sandwich with the matzah, the maror, the bitter herb, and the paschal lamb. Because those are the three, right? But now we don't have the lamb. So at this point, if you want to try horseradish on its own, you put a little bit of the horseradish on the matzah. I like to see who can cry the most at the Seder. But I don't want anyone getting hurt tonight. And this is our Hillel sandwich. Good stuff. All right. A couple other things that are on our plate. The egg. You'll see a place for an egg on the Seder plate, but it's not, you saw it's not part of our Haggadah, right? The egg symbolizes spring, symbolizes life. What? Well, boiled life. It's not traditionally a boiled egg, though. It's a roasted egg. Oftentimes we'll boil it before we roast it just to keep it from breaking, but traditionally it's a roasted egg. Another tradition that I've heard for the egg, and this is just custom, it's not written anywhere, but if you, and now I've tried it and it's worked, and I've tried it and it hasn't worked, but if you take an egg and put it in your hand, has anyone ever done this? And you don't use your fingertips, you just squeeze the egg. You're not supposed to be able to break it. I think you can, but you're not supposed to be able to. And so that, like the Jewish people, right, may be vulnerable at times, right? We've definitely had our share of oppression, but that we will not be broken. So that's the egg. The gefilte fish is not commanded anywhere. I should have looked up the history of gefilte fish for you. I don't know. I think it is a way to take, it has roots in poverty, right? Because it's a cheaper fish that you meld into this loaf to make it more flavorful and more edible. So now we are at the Shulchan Orech, the set table, our festive meal. So we can now eat everything. A lot of people like to put horseradish on the gefilte fish. So go ahead and eat. We're going to do the last part of our Seder in a minute. Are there any questions while we're eating about anything we've done so far? Please don't be shy. All right, while we're going, someone give me some other traditional foods that you would see at the Seder. Chicken is a good one. Brisket, right? We like the slow roasting foods. matzo ball soup. Good.
Yes.
Hmm?
Yeah.
He was just cheering for us.
Yeah.
Well, how do you roast an egg? I know how to fry an egg. I know how to boil an
You
egg.
throw it on the grill.
My dough and
Just a raw egg? You throw it.
Well, like I tried one cracked. So a lot of times, so what most people will do is take a hard-boiled egg and just hold fire under it so that you get some char marks. Oh, another trick I learned, also probably not kosher in a traditional sense because I think it's supposed to be fresh each year, but the shank bone can be a pain to get every year. So it just got suggested to me to freeze the shank bone. Just keep it in the back of your freezer. So you have it once, you roast it, and then you're good for years to come.
non-traditional tradition.
Sure, give us. This is if some of you have some fun traditions from your families,
Yeah,
this might be a fun time to share.
we have one. I don't know who it was, but somebody said that a woman has as much place at a Seder table as an orange on the Seder
Okay.
plate. So we always put an orange on our Seder plate.
So this tradition, if
Is
you
that-
Google it,
right?
well, yes, but it's a fun story. If you Google it, the woman who the story is about says it never happened.
So,
But the story goes that Rabbi Heschel said that a woman has as much place as a rabbi as an orange has on the Seder plate.
that was a rabbi, yeah.
So the Jewish feminist movement has suggested placing an orange on the Seder plate. I'll send it to you because she's come out kind of against it, but it's still, I like it.
Yeah, my uncle started it like a while ago.
The other feminist addition to our Seder, and we haven't gotten there yet, but what is this? Elijah's cup, which we're going to talk about in a moment. You can also purchase a Miriam's cup. Right? Now Miriam has nothing to do with Elijah because Elijah comes much later than Miriam, but Miriam is a symbol of our Passover story. And the Miriam's cup is another way of recognizing the role that women played in the story.
Can we just borrow a cup from Canterbury?
Hmm?
Can we just borrow a cup from Canterbury?
Right, right. And I think I talked about, when we talked about Shabbat, the idea of Hidur mitzvah, of the beautification of a mitzvah. Does anyone remember that? There's no reason why you couldn't make Seder on have a styrofoam plate with the symbols. Okay? There's no reason why you can't drink from a plastic cup as your Kiddush cup. But the idea of Hidur mitzvah means if you're at all capable to have beautiful things associated with our celebrations just reminds us of how special it is. Right? Having the silver Kiddush cup, the nice Seder plate, right? Using the fine china on Passover.
Buy high quality plastic.
Oh, there you go. The ones that look like metal. Right.
How about salt and pepper? You don't season things with salt and pepper?
As a tradition, or your roasted isn't good?
Tradition.
I don't know. I mean, salt, like dipping the egg in the salt water,
Oh, okay.
or the parsley in the salt water, but I don't know about salt and pepper. I'm always offended when people put salt and pepper on my brisket. Kosher meat, you definitely don't have to add any salt.
We bring pillows to the table.
All right.